I think the first thing I thought about when rumors about a new StarFox title flew about was that they surely wouldn't retell the war for Lylat a fourth time. Fifth, if you count 64 3D. I was wrong, but in the back of my mind I also predicted this. The series has essentially been a niche tragedy of circumstance for the better part of 30 years. Between lukewarm games on lukewarm platform sales to games with gimmicks too heavy-handed to be a rousing success, the series has been cursed by both failure and outright neglect by its IP owner. Star Wars for Furries should have been a knockout success, but it could never quite catch on. When it was announced that this would be a from-scratch remake of StarFox 64, skepticism seemed to fill the airwaves rather than speculation. Fair enough. However, after playing the title a little too extensively, I can say that this title more than justifies itself. A review for a game like this seems like it would be simple, but I know enough to know that this game can actually be judged on its own. It's just that the level design really cannot be part of that conversation, being decided decades ahead of schedule. This is, in fact, a from-scratch complete remake of StarFox 64. New cinematics, new engine. It controls a little more fluidly, yes, but understandably, many find this hard to justify picking up when they already have access to the game it seems to be a clone of. I will argue, however, that the controls and change in graphical fidelity make a dramatic change and improvement in the overall gameplay experience. To start, the missed opportunity with Zero is seemingly avenged here, and we get tight, fluid controls underpinned by the more detailed movement offered by a more modern physics engine. In the original, a missing wing never felt like that much of a detriment other than losing laser power-ups. However, in this title, especially with Expert Mode, it's immediately apparent just how much you need both wings working right. Control is either stiffened or unbalanced completely, depending on the extent of the damage in a way I don't think could have been achieved on the Nintendo 64. Dogfights also generally just feel a bit better. There are some slight changes to positioning and AI reactions to certain maneuvers that make Star Wolf fights feel notably more intense and fun than the already near-perfect original encounters. Probably the biggest is that your rivals are far smarter about the obstacles on the map and where their teammates are. So far, I have yet to experience Star Wolf downing each other or themselves on Venom 2 in this version, which happened both times I ran through the hard route on 64 most recently. This, in turn, makes attempting any medals or challenges involving Star Wolf much harder than it used to be. For example, I spent a likely total of 5 hours of my playtime with this game just trying to perfect an expert hard route run so I could go into Venom 2 with more than just single lasers. The reason for this is that single lasers are just not good enough to take down Star Wolf with any ease. And in expert mode, that usually means losing teammates.
Tick me off!
Where was my backup? The Emperor won't be happy, Hope. I'm done.
Wolf and company are better than they should be at dogfighting, seen as their AI opponents with mostly set routines, but as opposed to 64's, they weave over each other and relentlessly chase down their target until you trigger a turnaround by knocking half their health out. I finally got the medal, by the way. It's not just the aircraft that feel effective and fluid to pilot either. The Landmaster has gotten a massive improvement thanks in part to the higher precision and speed and control. The Blue Marine still is, well, the Blue Marine. However, Aquos does feel better to play than its Nintendo 64 counterpart, albeit a bit dark for my taste. Overall, Velen really understand how to make this game feel incredible to play. I even tried the new mouse controls for an entire playthrough. It is quite a blast to immerse yourself in the game this way. There's always been a first-person view, even as early as the SNES original, but with the precision of the mouse controls and complete lack of slowdown, you really do get that sense that you're piloting a piece of lightweight and futuristic military hardware.
Saving all the fun for yourselves?
Cat, we're kinda in the middle of something.
I am aware that the designs for the characters are divisive, but generally this game is a visual and auditory treat. It manages this fine balance of a semi-real and high-fidelity style to its graphics without looking like a second-year game dev student's Unreal Engine project, which is a pitfall bigger studios have, at times, walked just straight into. It is made in an in-house engine known as the Viper engine. I would love a peek under the hood since the game has not thrown me any slowdown, major glitches, or quirks that made a death feel somehow out of my control. Everything in the many hours I have put into nearly completing this title has been notably stable and smooth. It could be chalked up to better hardware, but it's easy to tell that extreme care was put into optimizing the game to run as perfectly as possible. Unfortunately, the game running as if it actually passed QA is now a benchmark that needs accolades for achieving, since counterparts from other publishers leave much to be desired in that regard. The soundtrack for this game is simply divine. The original Koji Kondo score is dialed up to its logical conclusion with this bombastic and cinematic orchestration akin to the Smash Bros. Melee cover of the SNES Venom theme. The sounds filling the room whenever I play this game never seem to get old. It gives everything more of a space opera feel akin to some classic John Williams in a way I don't think a Nintendo 64 sound chip could quite muster. Besides the music, the sound design is also just phenomenal. Whether it's the subtle noise of the R-Wing interacting with the environment,
So someone wants to play.
Incoming enemy on R6. Decrease altitude.
or the sharp sounds of the laser, everything feels extremely purposeful and fills the space without feeling like noise to avoid silence. Some iconic elements like the radio transmission sound effect and good luck are absent, but this game feels like an attempt to start fresh, almost pretending the past titles were just prototypes for this game. It's a confident choice to not only do this, but rewrite almost all of the in-game dialogue. While the performances don't ham it up nearly to the degree I would like, I do think after several repeated playthroughs this is a good, albeit more toned down, version of the characters in general. I would have loved to see more emotion from the characters in general here, both in the writing and voice direction. In a cutscene preceding Titania, Fox slams his hand on the comm while being told not to risk anything to save Slippy by General Pepper.
Even Andros has failed to claim it. You have my condolences, Fox. I understand it's never easy to lose a comrade.
With all due respect, General, you can chew on your condolences.
Fox looks and sounds pissed here. I would have loved to see more interpersonal conflict between characters like this. I felt like, while doing the easy path, Falco talked a lot of trash in this dispassionate tone while questioning Fox's leadership. It would have been great to see Fox and him argue a bit, or even get in a fist fight in the lead up to the Force Pulse run, for example. On Titania, Falco even sardonically states, "Your leadership got us here, Fox," without any pushback from Fox or Peppy. Where are the intense arguments between people weighed down by the stresses of an existential war? When doing the harder runs, they do effectively illustrate the team slowly trusting your leadership. This culminates in a change to the way everyone reacts to you going it alone in Venom 2. The camaraderie builds either as you transfer from the easy path up to the harder paths, or just do the harder paths outright. So I know for a fact that Velen or whoever wrote the new dialogue knows how to illustrate character relationships that feel real. I just wonder if there was some avoiding making anyone in the StarFox team look any different than really friendly coworkers. I would argue this is to the story's detriment. We're literally fighting a war. Let Falco get straight up pissed if you fail to save him on Corneria. If I were in Slippy's shoes, I'd want to punch something after the fifth scolding from Peppy about being focused. If I were Peppy, I'd want to lock that little shit in a room after he failed to take my life or death advice for a fifth time in a row. The whole game, you only see one major character visibly upset, and it's righteous indignation from Fox, which is one of many strong character moments. I just wish the game was peppered with even more. My hopes are that Villain gets to make a sequel where we get to see this. I would love to see them take a page out of fan projects like A Fox in Space and give these relationships a bit of friction without it feeling like a Flanderization of itself. Falco and Fox should feel like friends who disagree about a lot. Slippy and Peppy should feel more like a blustering son and an annoyed but caring adoptive father. But overall, for a first go at it, this is an excellent expansion of the generally limited storytelling of previous titles. Yeah, the voice acting isn't perfect, but I can see the vision here. Dial down the theatrics just a bit and be more subdued. But I can see things coming into full scope for most players after a sequel or campaign DLC, because as it stands, the way the Grenga pilot screams in this game will forever be compared to the incredible performance from 1997.
Those who cross Andros will die! My Emperor! I failed you!
Slippy, where are my diagnostics?
My Emperor! I failed you!
My Emperor! I failed you!
Besides all that, this game has added a handful of very nice things. The first being the fact that you don't have to play the campaign all at once. You can stop the game before Aquas and pick it back up days later without using an emulator save state. For the modern gamer, this is a godsend. It's the pick-up, quick session, and put-down style of gaming that is the bread and butter of what is likely most Switch 2 owners over the age of 20. Challenge mode is also a welcome addition, allowing you to play any mission previously played in campaign mode with some bonus challenges to attempt, like defeating the Grenga in under 10 seconds, which feels too easy to be considered an expert challenge, but it was also the only challenge I could complete when I first attempted the run. And the multiplayer, heavens, the multiplayer. What a massive improvement from the afterthought that was 64's free-for-all battle mode. Here we have team objective gameplay with a small selection of very well-designed maps, carefully tuned to encourage frantic and chaotic dogfights. Each map has its own mode, so you don't have to deal with the old Halo problem of being forced to play King of the Hill on a map clearly designed for capture the flag. The power-ups are balanced into a pretty competitive sandbox of randomized options that require skill to know when to use and how to use. The online play is impressively stable for a Nintendo title. I know we're still in the first month of release, but it takes a maximum of 30 seconds to find a team of at least 3. Player slots are being filled with bots is more of a rare oddity you encounter during the late hours of the night. Only once have I seen any weird lag in an online match, but the game is so frantic it's hard to notice. Getting takedowns on other players is extremely satisfying, and the multiplayer offers a bit of weapon magnetism that thankfully wasn't in the single player. I don't have the strongest internet in the world, and this game already runs better than most Halo sessions I've had as of late. It's either dumb luck or incredible netcode. In comparison to other online titles I've played on the Switch 2, this is just very well optimized for play. Reminds me of how Mario Kart Wii's online was weirdly smoother than any other online experience for the Wii. The game offers a handful of social rewards for completing medals, challenges, and engaging with the multiplayer. One inclusion is a collection of emblems and banners that really sell the confident new aesthetic for the franchise. The last thing I must mention is the game chat features. Furries everywhere, rejoice! You can now play as a Wolf O'Donnell VTuber. They even added some AR filter type things like hats and the like, which are fun. I can see a lot of voice actors far more talented than I am having a field day with all this stuff.
Alright, team. Did any of you guys happen to do the reading? Well, I did. You guys need to be paying attention to your theory. New conditions of oppression, new forms of struggle in place of the old ones. Now you see what Marx is saying here.
Damn it, are you guys talking about communism?
Okay.
Overall, StarFox 2026 is a clear victory for the franchise. While yes, it's 64's game and level design translated for a more modern player, it does so effectively, and notably so confidently, that it's undeniable just how fun it actually is. I sincerely hope the team at Velen gets the opportunity to make a sequel just as confident, just as bold, and just as bombastic as this one was, if not a little more, because if they do, we might finally have a StarFox revival on our hands.
We must remain vigilant.
Thanks again, General. This is all real nice. But we've got places to be. Call us if anything comes up, assuming you can afford us. I think our rate's just gone up.
And I'm proud to be the Nomian, where I can live my greed. And I won't forget the James who died to give that right to me.
Mission complete!